When did your visa arrive?
It was February 39, sort of first week, I think. I left Hamburg by air to London. London airport at the time was Croydon. My brother was there to meet me, and we arrived in London. Some family members, uncles, aunts, were already there. We met them. We stayed in London a couple of days because we had to register with the authorities there, with the Jewish Refugees Committee, and then came to Leeds on a Saturday lunchtime, arriving Leeds Central Station. And the first thing we did is drop my case in a left luggage office, and we went to Elland Road to a football match before we even went home. I remember it was Everton. We drew 1-1. And that's when I had my first come back down to earth. I thought with the college at Hamburg, which was very good, I'd learned quite a lot of English. And I thought, well, I'll see what happens. And we were going to Elland Road in a tram, hanging from the strap. It was packed, and there was everybody there. In those days, people were mufflers and flat caps, and I tried to listen to what they were saying, and I couldn't understand one word. It was Broad Yorkshire. You know, the sort of dialect that is no longer spoken, certainly not in towns. And I couldn't understand a word. I said, my God, I've wasted my time at college. And then we went home to where Frank was living in the digs, and he arranged for me to join him there. And that was that. On Monday morning I started work in the clothing factory, learn Hoffman pressing. Workers were extremely friendly and helpful. The workers probably more than the management. They were extremely friendly and helpful. They helped us and showed us what to do, what not to do. And the atmosphere there was quite happy. There were some problems. The trainee rate of pay was 30 shillings, that's £1.50 a week, on which you could just about exist. I mean, no luxuries or anything, but you could get into digs. I mean, men particularly didn't live in their own flats in those days. You were in digs, you had either full board or half board or whatever, which usually cost about £1 or a guinea, and that left you enough for tram fares and for the odd cinema visit. And you managed. I mean, you didn't have enough to buy clothing or holidays or anything like that. But what happened is the 30 bob attracted the usual deductions, unemployment insurance, health insurance and so on, which brought it down to about £1.07, something like that. And that was made up by the Jewish Refugees Committee. When the Tailors Garment Workers Union found out about that, they went haywire. They said, you're subsidising cheap labour and all that sort of thing. And eventually that was stopped, and they had to pay us the full 30 shillings. So that was my first encounter with, that's when I joined my first trade union.
Did you come across any anti-Semitism when you arrived in this country?
In this country? There was some underlying anti-Semitism. It wasn't open as it was in Germany. It was more hidden. More or less on the lines that it is now. I mean, there still is anti-Semitism. You know, there's still a golf club in Leeds which won't admit Jews. So it's always there.